Good morning and welcome to Game Day U, the only weekly OU football pregame show in Oklahoma on TV. Each week we cover all things Sooner football, discuss OU's opponent, and take a look at the Big 12 Conference and more. I'm your host, Emily Faith, and I'm joined today with Brig Bates, Melina Samir, and Kenzie Iserman up in Kansas. OU quarterback Dillon Gabriel said UCF would be a challenge, and he was right about his former team. But in the end, the Sooners survived the difficult duel against the Golden Knights. A slow first quarter ended with Gabriel throwing a short touchdown pass to the rising redshirt freshman star Nick Anderson. Sooners up 7-0. Now UCF started to punch back in the second and third, eventually leading 23-17 at the start of the fourth quarter. Then Drake Stoops swooped in with an 11-yard touchdown grab from Gabriel to give the Sooners some momentum. And Gavin Sawchuk had a 30-yard run into the end zone to put OU up 31-23 with 3 minutes left in the game. UCF did storm back for another touchdown, but the relentless Oklahoma defense put a stop to the Knights' 2-point conversion attempt. The Sooners won 31-29 and remain undefeated. Drake Stoops has been a big playmaker for Oklahoma, and his last name is legendary, but his talent and leadership is what makes him stand out on and off the field. Stoops knows what the Sooners need to do to stay confident through the rest of the season.
Just a trust in each other and a belief in our coaches, the players are calling, a belief in each other to do everyone's going to do their part, and knowing that who we got around us as our teammates, how good everyone is, that we feel and trust them, so that we feel that everyone's going to do their part, and just having that confidence that we could score at any moment, and when we don't, obviously we're disappointed, but guess what? There comes another series, here comes another opportunity, so you got to flush that one and look forward to the next one.
Now OU's slow and steady run game barely won the race against the Knights. The Sooners ran for an underwhelming 189 yards last Saturday, and head coach Brent Venables says staying persistent is the name of the game.
Again, you think about last year, again, just good running backs. You got to run through, for the whole game. They can't just knock you down with an arm tackle. You got to run through some trash, make something out of nothing sometimes. We got to sustain blocks on the first level. I thought, again, UCF did some really good things on defense, but got to continue to work on the run game.
And a redshirt freshman has stepped up when the Sooners needed him the most with 8 touchdowns on just 16 catches. Here's Nick Anderson on how becoming relaxed in the system and growing his bond with the teammates is making a better offense.
I think in part it's just our relationship and our comfortableness with the scheme and with everybody in the team room. I feel like I've created a bigger bond with the whole team. And just like I said, I'm more comfortable with the scheme. Our offense is more comfortable with the scheme, and we just comfortable in those stressful situations. So.
And Kenzie, what's another key piece that the Sooners might be missing?
Yeah, Brig, I'm sure you saw it, and so did the rest of Sooner Nation, but special teams for the Sooners is looking a little shaky. Now, Zach Schmidt has actually missed a few of his field goals this season, and last week's game he missed 2 of those. But despite those missed field goals, Brent Venables says he's still their guy.
I got great confidence in Zach, and it was a little rough patch, but, man, I believe in him. I've seen him at practice over and over and over deliver. He came back and, after 2 misses and made 1, and, we got to be more consistent there. Again, same thing. There's going to be more tight games, and I got confidence that he'll make them at the right time.
I hope today is one of those days that I see him make more of those field goals like Venables says, since he is their guy. Back to you, Emily.
Thanks, Kenzie. Seeing the Ponies run the Sooner Schooner onto Owen Field is a big deal for OU fans. Game Day U reporter Addison Arthur is also in Lawrence and has more details for us.
Thanks, Emily. The Scooter and Boomer and Sooner are a big part of OU's tradition. Stick around to find out more of behind-the-scenes look.
Did you know that trash, like plastic bottles and fast food wrappers, can carry germs and bacteria? When these items are tossed in the street, they eventually find their way to a river or lake and have a negative impact on aquatic life. Keep our waters clean by putting your trash in the bin. For more information, visit bit.ly/Norman Stormwater.
Here's the thing about Oklahoma. Highest temperature on record, 115 degrees. Lowest temperature, 63 degrees below freezing, with the longest stretch of time below freezing at 282 hours. 282 hours below freezing in Oklahoma? Severe unpredictable weather is nothing new in Oklahoma. It's just a fact of living here. That's why there's no wait weather on YurView Channel 3. We won't tell you what to expect. We'll show you all day long.
Meet the Scan, a simple procedure whose mission is to detect lung cancer early.
I'm here to save you!
But I feel fine.
That's great, but you may still be at high risk for lung cancer.
Oh man, that's a new fence.
If you smoke, early detection could save your life. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
To Game Day U, every school has special mascots and traditions, but Oklahoma reigns supreme with the ponies in the palace. Game Day U's Addison Arthur has more on one of OU's main attractions. Addison?
That's right, Emily. Tennessee fans sing Rocky Top. Notre Dame has Touchdown Jesus. And here in Lawrence, Kansas, they sing the Rock Chalk chant. But for OU, it's the Sooner Schooner. Let me take you behind the scenes and introduce you to Boomer and Sooner. The Sooner Schooner. USA Today Sports listed them as one of the best in sports histories and one of the coolest things to see in college football.
I don't care what anyone says about any other mascot, buffalo, a longhorn, an eagle. They don't pull a schooner out on the field driven by a student.
Contrary to what some believe, Boomer and Sooner don't actually live at Oklahoma Memorial Stadium. They live on a ranch at an undisclosed location where they are treated like royalty.
Very well taken care of, pampered. Probably some of the most pampered animals on earth.
We got the palace on the prairie. These are the princesses.
Get the spa treatment every time before a home game. I mean, they are always loving it.
Boomer and Sooner are like celebrities here in Norman, and they make a huge impact on game day. Boomer, do you have any comments? I think he says Boomer Sooner.
Incredibly famous. I mean, everyone's asking for pictures with them. We set up outside the north side of the stadium to just have fans come take pictures with us, interact with the ponies, feed the ponies, pet them. So they're more famous than we are.
The ponies are very social on game days, but they do have an intense job. They have been involved in an accident before and were even penalized one time. If the schooner didn't run, it would be a problem for fans because when fans see the ponies run out, that means OU put points on the board.
And, you know, I'm abrupt and stern with it. And I'll be yelling, I'll get them going, and yeah. And I'm usually fired, you know. I'm usually doing that too.
And watching them go out and then make the turn and come back home up through the tunnels, like, always exciting. Doesn't matter how many times you watch it.
According to Boomer and Sooners owner, there is no doubt who the best mascot in college sports is.
The Sooner Schooner is the #1 mascot in the NC2A sports, period.
As you can see there, the ponies didn't like it when the camera and attention was on me. They're used to all the attention being on them. The ponies only travel to bowl games, championships, and OU Texas, so sadly, we're not going to see them today in Kansas. Emily, back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Addison. The Sooner Schooner is on its way out of the Big 12 and into the SEC. This summer, some of Gaylord College's own traveled to SEC Media Days in Nashville, Tennessee. Game Day U's Kaylee Johama was there and gained insight on what some coaches think about OU joining the conference next season.
OU Nightly is here in the music capital catching up on all things Southeastern Conference. OU's upcoming move marks the 4th conference change for Oklahoma ever. SEC coaches weighed in on what they think about Brent Venables and his squad moving onto their turf.
The SEC is stronger than ever. I think the competition is going to be, it's always been difficult. It's going to be even more challenging because you got 2 really good programs who have consistently, if you look at the past, have been, top 10 programs for a lot of years.
Obviously, we're bringing 2 powerful, storied programs into the SEC, so we know they're going to be really great opponents, but I think everybody's excited. I'm excited. I'm from Oklahoma, grew up a Sooner fan until I moved out to Eastern Oklahoma, became a Hog fan, but yeah, I think it would be a great deal for the SEC.
Oklahoma kicks off conference play with a home game in Norman versus Alabama. Reporting from SEC Media Days in Nashville, Tennessee, Kaylee Jo Hommel, OU Nightly.
Back to the Big 12. What makes the Kansas Jayhawks soar? We'll talk more about that, plus some of the other Big 12 matchups this weekend when we come back.
To Sofia and Gabriel. Even though these old knees can't follow on your adventure to the forest today, these flowers represent my love. These stitches and threads join us together. And wherever you see a flower, a bird, a beautiful tree, know that my love is with you.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
The central and midwestern U.S. averages more than 850 tornadoes each year, and lately, the number of floods has been rising in the region too. So chances are, there will be more twisters and floods near here again. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are, you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has all the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
Welcome back to Game Day U. Over the summer, Gaylord College took on Big 12 Media Days in Arlington, Texas. I was there, and so was Addison Arthur, who talked with Kansas's head coach and a few players.
Thanks, Emily. And here's a fun fact for you guys. The Sooners have actually beat the Jayhawks 18 consecutive times in a row. So if the Sooners pull out a win today, that'll make number 19. But the Jayhawks have been much better this season. I got to attend Big 12 Media Days in July and got to catch up with some Kansas players, as well as head coach Lance Leopold, and hear how they have improved.
I'm just excited to improve again, and we have a lot of expectation this year, but we're really excited to get back on the field and show what we've been doing all offseason.
Last year, the Sooners held KU to a 10-point margin and made some big plays like this one to find the end zone. But KU thinks that this year's game will be different. Head coach Lance Leopold said his program has been turned right side up.
And quite honestly, it was night and day difference ahead of what we were at our last stop as far as becoming a player-led program. And I know those players, and especially the 4 men that are here today, have embraced that, and they're ready to take it another step.
When asked if they are ready for OU, Kenny Logan Jr. said they are always ready.
Happy to have them here. I'm ready to go against them. They're great competitions. They give us different skill attributes that one team might not have, so I'm ready to go. We're just really trying to focus on what we do every day, our day-to-day stuff, just trying to make sure we have everything in order in our house before we worry about anything else.
And the true test to see how much they improved will take place right here in this stadium. Emily, back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Addison. The Jayhawks seem to be a home turf team. Kansas has won all 4 of their home games so far this season, each win by double digits. Having home field advantage will give the Jayhawks extra confidence, so it'll be interesting to see if OU can overpower that energy through some discipline.
And the Jayhawks are down a starting quarterback in Jalen Daniels, but QB2 Jason Bean has stepped up, and Kansas has fared well under his direction, averaging nearly 32 points the past 3 games. So expect the offense to put up a fight.
Yeah, and the Rock Chalk Jayhawks defense is ranked 92nd in the country, but their offense is what carries their team. They're 10th in the nation in third down conversion rate and yards per play. And don't forget, this Kansas squad put up 51 points on UCF.
This stadium will be loud, as you can hear right now, as fans continue to pile in. The stadium for this game is completely sold out, and the last time the Jayhawks played in a sold-out stadium, they won versus BYU. And speaking of BYU, moving on to other Big 12 matchups, BYU will be facing Texas today. Now, both these teams are coming off wins, but with Quinn Ewers' injury, expect BYU to possibly take home the upset.
The Bearcats are heading into Cowboy territory today. Oklahoma State seems to have found a rhythm with their offense being centered around star receiver Ollie Gordon. Cincinnati is on a losing streak, but their defense is one of the most effective in the conference when it comes to stopping that run game. I'll be interested to see who comes out on top.
And it's a catfight in the Little Apple as Houston heads north. And after a blowout win against TCU, Kansas State is riding high. And the Cougs are looking for a bounce back after loss against number 8 Kansas. I see this match going either way.
And the Iowa State Cyclones look to turn into a waterspout as they travel down to the Brazos River to take on the Baylor Bears. Both teams knocked off Cincinnati. Expect this one to be tight.
Well, when we come back, we'll talk about the potential game changers you should watch for in Lawrence today. We'll be right back after this break.
Prepared as your family if a tornado shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a hurricane. You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking, let's go. You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza. Yes.
Make a plan today.
It all can get so out of control. Sometimes you can lose your faith, you can lose your mind, lose your grip, get stripped of your pride till you don't know how you're gonna stay alive. Hey, hey, I got you. I will give you what you need, and I'll be right there. I got you back. I got you.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Thanks for staying with us on Game Day U. Right now, we'll go in depth on the key things to watch for as OU takes on Kansas. So let's get right to it. A common theme we've seen from the Sooners all season, and especially these past 2 games, is Team 129's tenacity and will to win. OU Texas, down by 3, a minute 17 on the clock. The Sooners drive 75 yards down the field in 5 plays, including that game-winning touchdown from Gabriel to Nick Anderson. Last week, UCF led the majority of the second half, but Oklahoma found ways to score twice late in the 4th, and the Sooner defense stopped a 2-point conversion attempt for the win. If OU stays disciplined and persistent, I'm giving them the edge today.
And the Sooners' front 7 is a force to be reckoned with, and they answered the call against the Knights. Oklahoma held Central Florida to fewer than 400 total yards and 149 rushing yards. And Kansas averages 212 yards on the ground and 5.6 yards per carry. But there's trouble in the birdhouse as Jayhawks are down QB1 Jalen Daniels due to an injury. So this may weaken KU's offense production against the Sooners' powerful defense. I see the Crimson and Cream putting up a fight against the run from the start, but will run out with the win 37-23.
And flipping back to the offense, it's week 8 and the Sooners are still without their go-to running back. The Sooners have used Javante Barnes, Tawee Walker, Gavin Sawchuk, and even Marcus Major. And I have to admit, it's nice to see the depth, but there's no reason OU hasn't classified their starter each week. Someone new is leading the run game, and next thing, they don't even play the following week. The Sooners need a main guy if they want to establish the run game, but I think the Sooners get back on track and feast on a weak Kansas D, taking home the win 42-20. Kinsey, what's your breakdown over there?
Melina's right. This Sooner defense is something you're going to want to watch for this game. Now, the Sooners are nationally ranked second for interceptions with 12 interceptions by their 6th game. The Crimson and Cream is the only Power 5 team with at least 4 players with 2 or more interceptions this year, including Gentry Williams with 3, and Billy Bowman and Kendall Dobie and Key Lawrence to have 2 each. OU's going to come out on top today with at least 1 pick 6. Now, that is all from me from Lawrence. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Kenzie. The best part of the show is up next. A new set of analysts will be taking over Pick'ems, and you won't want to miss it.
To Sofia and Gabriel. Even though these old knees can't follow on your adventure to the forest today, these flowers represent my love. These stitches and threads join us together. And wherever you see a flower, a bird, a beautiful tree, know that my love is with you.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
Did you know that trash, like plastic bottles and fast food wrappers, can carry germs and bacteria? When these items are tossed in the street, they eventually find their way to a river or lake and have a negative impact on aquatic life. Keep our waters clean by putting your trash in the bin. For more information, visit bit.ly/Norman Stormwater.
The central and midwestern U.S. averages more than 850 tornadoes each year, and lately, the number of floods has been rising in the region too. So chances are, there will be more twisters and floods near here again. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are, you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has all the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
The family's visit to the forest inspired a beautiful question. Mother, mother, am I a tree? You tell me to stand tall. You tell me to stay rooted. I think I am a tree. My child, of course you are. But what kind of tree will you be? The kind to hug or the kind to climb? Doesn't matter which you choose, so long as you choose to be a tree that's kind.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
How prepared is your family if a tornado shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a hurricane? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
Let's go.
you'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza. Yes.
Make a plan today.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Welcome back and get excited because things are heating up. We'll discuss today's top games and give our picks on who will win. I'm now joined with a new group of analysts, Ryan Smith, Britton Ross, and Addison Arthur. Kicking things off with a Big 12 matchup, BYU at Texas. Texas is without starting QB Quinn Ewers today. Does that give BYU an edge, or will Texas take it?
Emily, this BYU run defense in its past 3 games has been giving up over 170 yards per game. And Texas running back Jonathan Brooks has been averaging over 117 yards per game on the ground. Even without Quinn Ewers running the show, I still expect the Horns to run all over BYU.
I don't think so, Ryan. Texas will be without quarterback Quinn Ewers for this game today. And next week, they host last year's Big 12 champion, Kansas State. Texas is going to overlook the Cougars today, and BYU is going to get a statement conference win.
That's right. I totally agree with you, Britton. I think the Horns are going to take this one. Even without QB1, they're really going to take this one. And it's going to be a close game, but I really see the Horns taking this one. They're going to win it.
The Ducks and the Utes have a lot on the line with this game today. It's bound to be intense. Does Oregon bounce back today, or does number 13 Utah pull an upset 2 weeks in a row?
Emily, this is probably the most interesting matchup of the day. Oregon's offense versus Utah's defense. One side's averaging 47 points per game, while the other is only giving up 15. But I don't think that a struggling Utah offense can keep up with the Oregon offense. Might be some shades of that Colorado-Oregon game that we saw earlier this season in Salt Lake City. Give me Oregon big.
Well, you're wrong again, Ryan. Utah's coming off their biggest win of the season over USC on the road without their starting quarterback, and now they host a top 10 team. That stadium's going to be crazy. Pig farmer Bryson Barnes is going to lead Utah to another upset win today.
I'm going with the Utes. I foresee their offense putting up big numbers today in front of their home crowd. Everyone loves a good upset, and I think it's going to happen today.
Well, finally, Oklahoma on the road against Kansas. Will the Jayhawks put OU on upset alert, or will the Sooners keep that 0 in the loss column?
Emily, this Kansas run defense in their past 3 games is giving up over 250 yards per game, including a 300-burger against Texas. If there's any game that the Sooners are going to be able to get the run game going with consistency, it's this one. I like the Sooners in a shootout.
Finally, one we can agree on, Ryan. The Sooners haven't lost to Kansas since 1997. Booth Memorial Stadium might be sold out today, but half of that's going to be Sooner fans. OU's going to sneak out of Lawrence and improve to 8-0 on the season today.
This Kansas team is one of the best we have seen in years. It is very cold out here, and there might be possible rain in the forecast. The key to winning this game, ball security. But I think OU takes this win and leaves Lawrence undefeated.
Well, I have to agree with all of you. I think that OU is going to take this one today. But thank you so much for watching Game Day U this morning, Oklahoma's only weekly OU football pregame show on TV. We'll see you next week right here, same time, same place. For Ryan Smith, Britton Ross, and Addison Arthur, I'm Emily Faith. Have a fun, safe, and football-filled game day.
Prepared as your family if a tornado shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a hurricane. You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you